friends, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to be going over my KU library. So all of the things are on my KU TBR, and these will be the KU TBR books that I have going forward into the new year. So some of these I have mentioned in videos previously. It's been a while since I've done those videos, so we're just going to talk about what I do have. And if you are interested in the books that I had in that wrap up, if you were like maybe looking out for those books, I would say check my other videos, because I just can't remember which ones I went over in my last video. So first up we have The Deal with the Devil. This will be the second Elizabeth O'Rourke I've read. I read Waking Olivia and I didn't love it, but this one is about a woman who takes over her friend's position as the hero's assistant, and he is kind of crass and a player, and they have this sort of reluctant relationship, and she ends up being his employee, and I believe some sort of part of her job is like kicking out the women that he has sex with the night before. Something along those lines. And I know it's like deliciously tension filled, and the hero is fantastic from what I've heard. So I'm definitely excited to read more. Waking Olivia didn't blow me away, like it wasn't an all-time favorite, but it was good, and I'm interested to read more from this author for sure. We then have Consider Me. This has been on my TBR for a while, just like some of the other ones on this list has been. But this is basically about I believe he's a national hockey league player, and all I know is the hero is like an absolute delight to read from. I've heard it's overly long and drawn out, but the hero's name is Carter, I think, and he is just a standout hero. He's completely enamored with the heroine and will do anything for her, which we love to read about. I then have Marriage for One, which has been on a couple KU TBRs. This is a marriage of convenience about a woman who is attempting to get an inheritance for a coffee shop or something, and he needs a wife, and so they enter into a marriage of convenience, and he's supposed to be like the ultimate grump. I have tried to read it a couple of times previously, including recently in a try a chapter tag, I believe, and it's not immediately gripping me, but I would like to give it a shot and get past like the 20 pages or so that I've gotten through thus far. Next up we have Balance. This is, from what I understand, an extremely taboo romance, if you can consider it a romance, between a woman who is a girl who's underage and her coach. I'm reading this for a specific video. I'm reading like a certain somebody, and they love this book series. So when I heard that this was going on KU a couple of months ago, I like immediately added it, because previous to that it was not on KU, and I didn't want to lose it and have to not read it because I wasn't going to pay for it. So I immediately added it to my library, but I probably won't be reading it for a couple of months because I don't have that video planned for a couple of months. We then have two books by the same author, Come Back for Me and Return to Us, which seems to be maybe a companion series, and they're both by Corinne Michaels. Now, I'm not a small town girly. Small town romances has kind of taken over the romance space recently, and like I want to know what the big deal is. So I have like this, and I have Flawless on my TBR and all that, because I want to know what the deal is. I don't know anything about these. I think one of these is a single dad, which I'm not 100% here for, but all I know is they're single dad. I think one is a marriage, one is like a second chance, one is an enemies to lovers. I'm not really sure. You'll have to let me know which one to start with. We then have The Serpents and the Wings of Night, which is a vampire fantasy romance from the same author of The Daughter of No Worlds, which I read recently. I ended up giving it a 3-star because I just didn't read it in a timely manner. Like, I took too many breaks and I felt very disconnected from the story, but I know that like this writing is good, the story is interesting, I enjoyed the romance, and I just want to like, this author's writing is good, and so I want to give her another chance. I'm going to continue that series, and then I also want to try this series. We then have Just Like Heaven, which is like a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I think they're either in high school or they're like in college, And that's all I really know. I've read one other thing by this author. I think it was like the first book in her like Gossip Girl series, and I liked her writing. I just didn't like the direction that that book took. So I've heard that this one is like particularly angsty, which is just like my shit. I think it's like Wrong Side of the Tracks guy, uptown girl, rich girl situation. I've heard the hero is like very nice and sweet, which is quite the deviation from the usual hero in these sorts of stories. I then have read Thorns, which I haven't decided if I'm going to give up Rena Kent or not. I have read 2 books from her at this point. Well, I say read. I finished one and then I ended up DNFing the other one. And I just don't know if she's necessarily for me. I don't love her writing, and I like the fact that I couldn't even finish her newest book, which I'm pretty sure it was the newest one. Maybe speaks to like her just not being for me. And then the next 2 I'm gonna kind of talk in tandem because people like, you know what these are about. We have Things We Never Got Over and The Confidence of Wildflowers. Again, I'm reading these for videos, but they won't be for a while. All I know is one of them, I know the big spoiler of one of them is like something that pissed everybody off, and like in the other one the hero is really obnoxious. I don't really know. All I know is these are both like angsty, so we'll see. And like I said, I do have Flawless. I don't know if, I think this is also a single dad, or is it the second one that's a single dad? All I know is they're Small Town. Again, another like small town series that everybody has just been raving over. Like I said, not a small town girly, but I'm trying to be, so I'm excited for that one. We then have Restore Me, which again I've heard is a very angsty series, and I think it's her dead husband's best friend, and they have like a drunken hookup, and they never really got along, and then they had that one night stand. And then I also have More of You, which I've heard again is another angsty romance. Looks like it's a second chance. He's a rebel with a bad attitude, fell hard and fell fast, be together forever and then left with a broken heart. So I'm getting like Brittany C. Cherry vibes, so we'll see how that one goes. I then have Blindside and Sneak Something, those two books by Candy Steiner, because I'm reading them for a video, and I've heard they're good. And I've heard like the virgin rep in Blindside's really good. I just know they're both college sport romances. We then have The Perfect Wrong, which again I think is another small town, but I think this is like forbidden romance where wrong feels perfectly right for two star-crossed lovers. Ex-Seal, they're step siblings, but he's like fully an adult. Full-length forbidden romance with sizzle, jaw-dropping sass, and all the heart-stompy butterflies impossible happily ever afters are made of. Witness one growly protector battle the worst luck in the known universe to throw his princess over his shoulder and bring her home forever. Okay, we have Lyrics of a Small Town, which is another, you guessed it, small town romance. I've heard of this author before, and I've heard she's good. She was to a small town after her grandmother dies. Birdie, hero, all that jazz. We have Juniper Hill, another small town romance. Again, don't really know too much. I think this is more like suspense, possibly. I think maybe the hero is a detective or something like that. And then the last one is Twisted Hate. I don't have the best relationship with Miss Anna Huang. I have given both of the first books 3 stars, but I'm reading this for a video, and I want to try her new series, and I know that like it's not a spin-off, but it's connected to this series, and like the characters are mentioned in the last book in this series. So I want to just like complete the journey of this series. How many times am I going to say series in a sentence? And move on. You know, I want to enjoy her books. Everybody loves her books. I want to love them too. They're just so messy, like, and not in a good way to me. So hopefully, you know, her writing has matured as she's gone on, and I'll really love that one, and I'll love the last one, and then we'll get into her new series. So those are all of the books on my KU TBR going into 2023. I am filming this at the end of November, so chances are maybe 1 or 2 things have changed, but I don't have anything on my list of things to read for the last half of the year from my KU library. So we'll see, but yeah, this is my TBR going into 2023. Let me know down in the comments the books that I should prioritize. If you have any recommendations for me based on the books that I have in my TBR, I would love to hear it, or what you have in your KU TBR. If you don't have anything to say, leave a book stack or a device of some sort down in the comments. If you are looking for more content from me, you can check out my Instagram and my podcast Instagram. You can also check out my podcast on all your favorite streaming platforms. It is a horror podcast. It's a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe if you are excited to see me read these romances. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next one.